But let's start with the disaster we saw in Game 4 last night. The Cavaliers officially swept out of the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 was their chance. They obviously blew that 22-point lead. Game 2, they got good looks, couldn't buy a bucket, lose by double digits. Game 3, at the end, it felt like the Cavs had quit. And then Game 4, they came out hot. Defensively was non-existent. The Knicks took a big lead in the second quarter. And then this backups. And I mean the backups. We're talking the guys that never play got put in with 9 minutes left, and it was the end of the bench battle for the majority of the fourth quarter. Jason, you sat next to me for the game, so I know your thoughts. We'll get to those in a second. But, Gio, I want to start with you. The game yesterday and the series in totality, was this a matter of the Knicks simply being the much better basketball team, or do you think the Cavs quit?
It's both. Let me just give y'all this. I'm not into. I didn't like what James Harden said in the press conference. I didn't like that because there's no way you can get swept and come up here and tell me that you guys thought you guys didn't get outplayed that much, and I think we're almost kind of the better team. No. That's not the way it works. The New York Knicks have beaten you when they were the JV New York Knicks. They beat you 4-2 back a couple of years ago. They've upgraded and
4-1 a couple years ago.
Sorry, I'm giving them an extra game. You guys got embarrassed then, and I never would think that this would be even more embarrassment. This was embarrassing for the city. It was embarrassing for the colors. It was embarrassing for everybody involved. For you to come out in a closeout game and get beat by 40 is unacceptable. You really gave up the game before, and to me, all those people in Cleveland came. That's not representative of what the Cavs in the city of Cleveland is supposed to be about. It's about fight, want to go down swinging. And you did none of the above. You lost the first game, and we documented that. But after that, you came out and you didn't give us anything. We can go and talk about the level of conditioning and, hey, it hurt us in our legs. We were tired. But guess what, guys? You swept the Miami Heat a couple years ago, right? You swept them in the first series round, right? Then you played the Pacers, and then you said you were tired against the Pacers. So what's the excuse? Are you guys not working hard enough? Are you not getting your conditioning? You said you was going to remember all of this. But not only did you not remember it, you didn't even come to show up to fight. The fact that you had every washed-up New York Knicks player at your home court looking at you and laughing, Charles Barkley counting them clowns you talking about, the definition of quit is Cavaliers. That's crazy work.
That was a crazy halftime segment.
That was crazy. They laughed at you and clowned you, and then you came out here in the second half and just rolled over and showed no fight, no nothing, no want to, guys. 40 points. This is the most disappointing series I've ever seen from any Cleveland Cavaliers team, ever. All the above, all of them. This is it. Because none of these games was close, and the one game that you could have won, you was up 23 points, and guess what? You quit in that game too. So even when you was up, you quit. Path of least resistance. This team has big issues we can't even talk about. Go ahead, Jason.
Analytically, it's 2-2.
That I was throwing stuff in my street TV when I heard that. If you look at I was looking like McNuggets.
Well, so
don't you?
On that quote, it is out of context such a bad thing to say because you just can't say that.
You can't.
The question he was asked was, "What gives you confidence that this team isn't dead down 3-0?" And in that context, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But you just can't you can't say it. And you guys know I like Kenny. You just can't say, "Hey, we just haven't made enough shots. We've gotten good look." To say. Without the question, it's such a bad out of context quote. It's slightly better when you know the question, but they lost the series 27 points.
That's
77 points.
Yeah, they lost the series.
It wasn't even close.
Not a single game with digits.
It wasn't close.
Even the game you were up 22 in the fourth quarter, you lost by double digits. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't cover. The Cavs were up 22 with 8 minutes left, and we're at 7.5-point underdogs and didn't cover.
Analytically, gas should be about $2.50 a gallon. Analytically, Mike should be dating Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
Facts.
Super facts. By the way, analytically, I got to, in real life, I'm going to just, JB, I got on you when you was on here with the Cavs. Yeah, you would have performed better than this. I got to apologize to JB. If I'm going to get on JB and go as crazy as we did on him, Kenny has no excuse. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, Kenny, no. It's funny that I have to be a ray of optimism here, but I mean, they did make the conference finals.
Yeah.
So you have to acknowledge that. You have to give them credit for that. So it was a breakthrough. It was a step up. It was a one step farther than what they've been before. So you give them all the credit for that. But everything beyond that, this was a disaster. And it was the disaster of a series. I can't say any better than you did. Yeah, I think they quit. And you could say you're tired, but I don't want to hear it because I told you guys last week the bill came due. Mm-hmm. And this was the result of screwing around with Toronto, screwing around with Detroit, and this is what you get. And that felt like Kenny's up there last night complaining about the scheduling and how the games come every other day. And I thought Donovan was right. You did it to yourself. Like, how are you going to sit up there? Part of the reason you're in the position you are is because you're the coach. So you can't blame being tired now. You're right. They blame being tired last year. Different circumstance in terms of the pace that they played at against the team they played at. But at the end of the season, when your excuse every year at the end of the year is we were tired, that's an awful look. And the only thing I'll say, Dan Gilbert sent out a tweet last night.
We have the tweet at if you want to show that.
I didn't see it. I disconnected all of my matrix. I just unplugged the internet.
This is a warning shot over the bow.
Dan Gilbert said, for anyone who can't see, we took a step ahead this spring, but we are nowhere near where we need to be.
We are nowhere near where we need to be. Does that sound like an owner that's content with running this thing back as is?
Nope. So
I don't know what's coming, but that tells me something is coming. That is not nothing. I had to write a column after the game last night for The Athletic, and I led with that. Because that was something, and he doesn't tweet like that very often. And the old Dan, everybody in the building would be fired after that. He'd be looking for a new secretary after that because they would all be fired. But this is not that Dan, so I don't know. I don't know what the fallout's going to be, but it's going to be something.
Jay just let me know that he's in the building, so we're going to take a break in about 5 minutes. We'll bring Jay, and he'll take my seat, and then I'll go back behind the glass. So I just want to get two thoughts on the Cavs real quick.
Yeah.
In terms of, did they lose to the Knicks because the Knicks were better? Did they quit? I think it's both. The Knicks were the better team. The Knicks are on an absolute heater right now. They made some incredible shots. They deserve to be headed to the NBA Finals, and we're going to rightfully bury the Cavs today. The Knicks also deserve a lot of flowers and kudos because they are playing some terrific basketball right now. With that being said, it's hard to argue anything that G said. Hey, and there's a video of bad transition defense. Can you play it?
Lord, please don't make me
laugh. They showed this at halftime. I put this together again. There are certain things that just can't happen. The shot goes up. You have five guys
trotting,
and then Donovan comes back and ends up fouling Mikal Bridges. When you have championship aspirations, some of this stuff can't happen. Here, they get back in transition, but you'll see Donovan pointing at Mobley saying, hey, switch, switch, switch. That's way too far away to try and get back to Karl Anthony-Towns. And then this one, Harden on the step back. You have Sam Merrill and Dean Wade crashing the glass. All five Cavs are underneath the free throw line as Jalen Brunson's on a run out with the rebound. Sure, you can blame tired legs, and that's probably a factor, but that is not championship effort. No. And if you want to be a championship team, you have to play with championship effort for 48 minutes a night every single time you're out on the court. I know the Cavs in this series got exposed for a roster that doesn't have enough playmaking. They got exposed for a team that doesn't have the requisite athleticism to handle some of the up-paced tempo that comes with the playoffs. And when it did slow down, Donovan and James weren't good enough. Their stars weren't good enough in this series to overcome some of the other shortcomings. And the Knicks outplayed them. The Knicks outcoached them. The Knicks out-executed them. And that's how you end up with one of the more lopsided four-game sweeps in a conference finals history. I don't think it's that difficult to parse out what happened here. The Cavs got beat down bad and had no answer. And someone's got to pay for it because it's the most expensive roster in basketball. Dan Gilbert put out the tweet saying changes have to come. But it's a lot easier to say changes are going to come than it is to actually make it happen with their second apron status, all the constraints, all the older contracts they have. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens here.
If you went to a football game and you watched your son, you coach your son, and after a game they got beat by 40, and the coach comes in and everybody's in the locker room, and the coach says, you guys need to look in the mirror, and somebody says, well, coach, we were tired. He would, this is high school, he would say, oh, I'm glad you spoke up. So on Tuesday, we're not even going to put the pads on. We're going to make sure that y'all ain't going to be tired no more.
Yep.
A coach said that in front of the entire world. And we just showed you guys getting beat down court on makes. Yeah. This is Emerson. He would have took the basketballs and tucked them away and said, you guys are getting beat down the court on transition on makes.
We had a practice where we passed the shoe around. I swear to God, we passed the shoe. I forget what we did that pissed OB off, but we passed the shoe around. Literally a basketball like that was the. We had a whole practice with no.
No,
and like something like that.
Something stupid, right? Like this. All you can do is laugh. All you can do is laugh because this happened in real life. This literally happened in real life at a conference finals.
Yeah,
here you go. Dog.
So.